All right, all right. Okay, we're back. Hello, episode
Hello.
33. Okay, now lots.
Let's
Oh,
go.
it's spilt. Mine actually just spilt
Oh
on.
man, absolute schoolboy, schoolboy
You
error.
can tell I'm well out of practice of drinking beers. I
Right,
had uh,
mate. Go on.
I had 2.5 yesterday actually, and to celebrate
Oh,
the big arrival, and I was like in the middle of the night. My Mrs. Diz woke me up to help with a little feed and like help sort out the baby, and I was just like, oh my god, I wish I hadn't had those 2.5 beers. So I'm just gonna have this one.
right. Well, I think we need a little toast. Since the last podcast, you are now another child.
Deep.
You have another child in the
An-
household. Yeah.
Another one to add to the roster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
very much.
congratulations, mate.
Cheers, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's been a
when,
mad week.
when was it? Like, not even a week ago.
Fri-
How's it been? Has it been full on?
So it was Friday that she was born, Friday morning. Happy and healthy, everyone's good, and mum's good. And so what day are we now? We're on Tuesday. I'm losing track of the time because I'm off work this week, obviously. And I completely forgot. If there's any dads out there, I don't know if we have many dads
Not many.
listening. I don't know. Yeah.
Not many.
What I completely forgot is the first few months of them living, they're completely on their own time scale, and like you cannot. We were just talking about just then. You can't get them onto the time scale that works for you. So she basically sleeps all day. So like from 7 a.m. through to like 10 p.m. She just sleeping. She wakes up occasionally for some milk, but she's sleeping. Then at like
So
10,
you're getting loads of games in.
well, hang on. So then at 10 p.m., she's like, right, let's go. I'm awake, yeah? And at 10 p.m. to like 6 a.m. is her day. So you're like, oh my God. You'd think that would be a good thing. But obviously, we've just living normal lives of our jobs. Unfortunately, we have pretty standard, boring jobs, which means we have to go in to work like during the day. So our your and mine's kind of timescales as well. Why do I keep saying timescales? Time zones are pretty standard, during the day things. So I can't do it. Like I'm having to catch up and sleep during the day because I'm just fucked, basically. But all good, pretty mad. I've been watching a lot of Counter Strike more than playing. Watching loads of the Blast because it's basically just come at the perfect time where it started yesterday.
You have got
Um,
lucky with that, yeah.
yeah, and it's all during the day, and during the day she's sleeping. I'm kind of getting chores done, mooching around and stuff. So, yeah, she's here. We've got 2 now. That's it. We're done. So, maybe we should give a heads up to the podcast and other content. We'll try and do it keep it as consistent as last year, but you might have to allow me the odd one or hit 2 here. But anyway, thank you for the cheers and yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a big thing, mate. So, yeah, congrats again. So, like we were just said, you have had the baby at a pretty good time. I always feel like I've had 2 kids, so it's not like I can really say too much. But when you have a baby, it's obviously it's hard work and it's tiring and your sleep pattern is all over the show and all that. But it's also nice just to have a bit of time off and not go to work and concentrate on that. And everyone kind of appreciates it as
Yeah.
well. So it's really good that you've got the time off. And I think that's a perfect time to watch Counter Strike because Counter Strike, let's face it, you're not necessarily going to sit there intently and watch, 3 games or whatever, and not take your eye off the TV like you may for a football game, for example. So being able to like watch it as you kind of potter in the house and not doing too much because you've got to be there for the baby at the same time.
Mm.
You can kind of watch the TV, you know, feed baby while you're watching TV or whatever. Um, so I feel like Counter Strike's the perfect watch.
It's a good background watch, 100%. Like yeah, and I often have it on when I'm cooking anyway, whatever, if I can, because it's perfect just to have on in the background. But right, well let's get into some Counter Strike. Let's talk about what's been going on. Yeah. Before we get into this, if anyone who does listen to this hasn't checked out on YouTube, I put another new video on the new I don't know what you want to call it, but Face It Till I Make It, which is effectively. It's the first episode or first little go at it, so forgive the rough around the edges feel vibe to it. It's going to get better, trust me. And this is basically where myself or you and me, we do it in duos as well. We're going to grind Face It. We've never, I would say we've never grinded Face It. We've played Counter Strike since 1.6, casually. Let's say, right, we played 1.6
Yeah.
and some other ones more than others, but we never focused in on Face It, which has always been obviously the kind of real
Pinnacle.
stamp of grind and getting your rank. So, and you know me, I've always kind of wanted to, right? I've always been on to you. So, Face It Till I Make It is effectively me and you when we're both on, and we can be bothered with the sweatiness of trying to grind out Face It and effectively faking it because we're shit and seeing if we can grind some ranks and make it up. And I'm going to record it and chop it up, inspired by War Out, obviously, but it's funny because I always moan to you about War Out's lack of content and the amount of videos he puts out, but it's taken me ages to make a 4-minute video because of like the
We can forgive you though, mate. You've just had a baby and you've got a lot going on.
yeah, fair
I
enough.
don't
Yeah.
think Warhol. Well, I don't think Warhol even has a partner. Well, he may have a partner, but he doesn't seem like he's got any kids.
Do you know what I was before this podcast? I was thinking because there's some stuff we're probably going to talk about, which usually I'd be all like ragey about, and I thought, oh, I'm in a good mood. I've just had a baby, things are good. But do you know what? No, fuck it. I'm not going to change. And Warhow can fuck off, mate. He should be putting out a lot more content because honestly, if I could do it, he should be able to do it. Anyway, if you haven't watched that, it's on YouTube. Check it out. It's only 3 minutes long. Appreciate any feedback, and hopefully the skill gets better. I've been playing so well on Counter-Strike, and then I put the camera on, and it was like pressure was on, like melted. I was doing such stupid shit. It's like typical.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. Yeah, you feel like someone's over your shoulder watching.
Yeah, and even though on Face It the servers are still standard. Hang on, someone's at the door. I think. Hello. Even though the servers are standard, this might happen now. Even though the servers are standard, they're not like 128 tick or different compared to how they used to be. They still, I think the quality of play or the registration of the bullet still feels different. But that might also be in my head just because I was in my own head when I was recording it. It just like shook the whole time. Anyway.
I don't think I've played any Face It since CS2, to be honest.
No, we haven't. That was my first go. And during CS:GO, I only played 35 matches, which is nothing. That's why I feel like this is a new venture. We never really gave it a run. I'm going to try and do it when I'm just on my own, or we've not got a 3 or 4 stack because some of the other guys I play with don't want to play Face, which is completely fair enough. So if you're up for it, we'll do it together. If not, I'll do it on my own. But anyway, I've said enough.
Yeah, it's good content, man. I think it's good video as well, and I think anyone who's into CS will like that content as well. It's only a short video. It was only, what was it, 4 or 5 minutes?
4 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's perfect. Like, especially like to kind of test the water, put that out there, and like the podcast. This isn't too bad because people can kind of listen right while they're doing whatever.
Yep.
While they're working or washing or doing things around the house. That's just a little short watch. I think stuff like that's great because for me, I don't really sit on my phone for ages watching a video. Now and again, but like I say, like we just said, I might have Counter-Strike on my phone, but literally I'll put my phone down while I'm doing something. So yeah, I think that's cool. Anyway,
right, let's get into some juicy stuff. Since we last had the podcast, the awards happened, right?
Yeah, and you just touched on War Owl actually, so I think that's a pretty good segue over onto the awards. So they did the content awards, and I thought I don't think I voted on this. We could vote on it, but I didn't. Did you?
No, I did not vote on it.
I had a look at it, but I didn't have a strong opinion on most of the categories, so I kind of didn't really vote. But I thought surely Warhol was going to walk this, and I was wrong. Free Clips Philip won it.
Was he one of the nominees, Warhow?
Yeah, so Warhol ended up. Bear with me. Creator of the Year. No, Warhol was nominated, but he wasn't. Nade King was second. I also thought Nade King might be up there. I thought he might win it. And Nat Out There was third. And I'll be honest, Free Clicks Phillips is a British guy. His videos, I've checked them out, do seem pretty cool, but I don't really watch them. They were a little bit too from when I looked. It was a little bit too long. Maybe I will
Okay.
watch them when I've got a bit more time on my hands. But
Well, I
yeah,
watched
he
Nade King
gave birth
stuff,
anyway.
so yeah, I would have.
Yeah, Nade King seems really popular.
So
I was pretty surprised.
why is the Counter Strike casuals not on there? This is a joke. How do we get ours?
I think
Oh,
it was early days, wasn't it? I think maybe we will be. Maybe at the next awards. We might
oh,
be at the awards
we might
on
be at
the
the awards.
sofa. Yeah.
We might
With,
refuse. We might refuse the awards to be quirky and casual. They might invite us, and we might say no. Do you know what? We're not interested. You didn't support us from day one.
yeah, you got to be fans from day one or nothing.
Who am I kidding? I'll fucking book a whole hotel out. Everyone can come.
Especially, yeah, especially if it was Chad the boy giving us the award.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Well, forget content creator, man. We don't care
yeah,
about
we're
that.
not that
That's us. That's the casuals. Game over. Done. What about the rest of the awards then? So what are the categories? Orpa of the year. Let's have a look.
well, I mean, yeah, you've got Orpa, which obviously we're gonna go Zaiwu, right?
Yeah. Who won it? Sorry.
And yes, I mean, yeah, Zaiwu won. Monacy came second. Brokey was third. That was the other one I was a little bit unsure about. How do you feel about that?
What? Because of
Brokey
Brokey?
being
I don't know,
third.
mate. Brokey does a lot, and people
I
underrate
do think
Brokey.
he's sick. Like, I'm such a big fan of Brokey, but I'm just not sure about third.
I would have thought some Pius could have been third instead, maybe. That would be the only one that maybe third would be. Zyra Monacy, yeah, fine, and then I'm shocked some Pius isn't there, but fine.
I mean, I'm just
We'll
trying to
talk
get the
about
top
third
20.
place.
I'm trying to get the top 20 up now because I'm thinking, right, so you've got Brokey third. Was Brokey rated above, like, Shiro, for example,
No,
or even
Shiro had better
Simple?
stats. No, Shiro had better stats, but it would have been done on based on what the teams won, which obviously FaZe had a really good year and towards the end of the year, which the
Yeah, but
HLTV put so much weighting on that. Like,
this is gonna come up again, I reckon. This combo. So you've got the awards that they've given out for specific things, yeah? Closer, opener, anchor, AWPer. So are you basing it just on that one thing? Because a lot of these nominees, or winners, should I say, like the top three, are ranked like in the top 20 lower than other AWPers, for example, or other anchors. And yet they're in the top three. Like Brokey being third, I'm pretty sure in the top 20 of HLTV's top 20, he's not as high as some other AWPers. So surely, what are you basing? Are you basing the top 20 on something different than what you're basing the best AWPer on?
yeah, just question for them, mate. Email or tweet in. It's weird.
So yeah,
Their systems are always all over the show, right? They get it
yeah,
like 70% right, I think. There's always like a 30% element of question marks or not quite sure exactly what their
yeah. Even
angle
this,
is.
like this sounds outrageous, but if Zyru wasn't number one AWPer, I wouldn't be mad about it because yeah, he's fucking sick AWPer, but he's sick at everything. Like when I think of Zyru, I just think he's an amazing Counter Strike player. I don't think he's an amazing AWPer. If you say to me, like imagine Zyru playing Counter Strike, I don't instantly think he's got an AWP. Whereas Monacy and Brokey, I do straight away through and through their AWPers. And I think Zyru's even said this, like he doesn't mind not having the AWP
Yeah.
because
I
he's sick with the rifle.
I just saw I just watched we'll get into it a bit, but I just watched a bit of Zyru against Astralis and he was fucking quality with the AWP on the last map. And he won a couple of 1v1s against Device. They both had an AWP. And I mean Device is a bit older nowadays, right? But still it's Device, right? He's like the goated of AWPers. And Zyru fucking taught him a lesson, mate. He was
Yeah, so
yeah.
I feel like
He was so quick.
Zyru's on one at the minute. I feel like you get players now and again, yeah, that they're the best in the world, but they're like this. And now and again, they just reach this peak where they're just like so good.
Yeah.
And Zyru's at that peak right now. How long he can stay there for is another question. But like, yeah, he's just unreal, and I don't think anyone's going to beat him at Open, even like Simple. But
Well,
like Simple's obviously not at his peak at the minute.
yeah, fair enough.
So
Well, Orpa, Munisi, and Zaire top two, I'd agree with. Brokey, I'd probably put some bias there instead. That would be my only comment on that.
it'd be interesting to see like how they differentiated between Brokey and people like Shiro and some Pius. That would be interesting.
mm,
So anchors, Magis was number one anchor, followed closely by JKS and Flames, and really interesting that they had JKS as number two.
yeah,
I mean,
he still hasn't got a team.
yeah, that's what's crazy, and it's like still don't get. Like, how long's it been now since they got rid of him? Like, I don't even know, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around why they've got Nexa, why they would do that. I don't understand it.
Mate, there's some good players like JKS, Smooya, who's been playing very well for the Witchers. Obviously, British guy. We've got to shout him out. I think, and he's Witchers disbanded after they didn't make the RMRs. Dexter, who was at OG. I was watching the OG game against Vitality yesterday, and they were talking about Dexter. Dexter's still benched by OG. The guy was like, what was he rating for OG when he got benched? Which I don't even know exactly what he got benched, but his average rate is
Yeah,
like 1.2, 1.2. It's not a bad player. He's 22 years old. So I don't know what Dexter's done wrong, but Dexter, Smooya, JKS, there's some good players out there. I'm surprised these guys don't have a team. That's a core there. You could
yeah,
start building off that already. But yeah, no.
yeah. I'm sure he's had offers as well.
You would have thought so, yeah. But generally,
Yeah,
I would agree with that list of those three, wouldn't you? We're just JKS Flames. Don't know.
yeah. Can't really argue. Yeah, maybe swap Flames and JKS, but yeah. Closers, Robs can't argue with that.
Nope.
Spinks and Frozen.
I don't think you can argue with those. I think those good three and deserved.
Yeah. Openers, Nico. He won that. Rain was second. Exertion was third.
Rain.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised with this one. I think again you could probably swap Rain and Exertion. I think Exertion would be above Rain. Maybe this is like again like they're looking at the teams. They're looking like this team did well. Maybe they're looking at stats that we're not quite thinking of. But yeah, the way you said Rain then was kind of what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. But
Even though
again,
I'm like a big Rain fan, like Rain and Brokey, like big fans of them both. But yeah, well done,
but
guys. But
but I
yeah, a bit
think it's because
surprised.
HLTV puts so much emphasis on the team wins, and if a team, let's say FaZe won all the big stuff, Kata, Cologne, and a major in a year, which would be mental. And I was thinking about this the other day. That should be the Grand Slam, not the actual Intel Grand Slam. Anyway, let's say you win or Kata and Cologne, that puts you so much. But you're like, let's say I played for FaZe and we won them, but I was second from bottom, but my role was an anchor. That would like instantly put me like third anchor, even though I've not actually played that well on their list or their kind of rating systems. I think.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it now. Let's look at Vitality. So they've got Zyra as the best AWPer,
Yeah.
Magis and Flames. I know Magis has left now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Flames is there anyway.
So they basically
Spinks
lost
as the best closer.
lost the number one anchor, replaced him with the third best.
Yeah. So yeah, Zyru, Flames, closers, Spinks, and yeah,
Apex,
Apex as number one in-game leader.
mad. It's no wonder they're so good. Or last year.
So yeah, in-game leaders, since we just mentioned it, Carrigan was second and Snappy was third.
That's fair enough. And then I guess Hooksy would have been fourth, maybe. Would have been deserved the fourth or type.
Shuey.
Yeah, that's your top five.
I would have had Shuey. I know this, like, nobody in the Counter-Strike scene would ever agree with this, but I think I wouldn't put Apex as as number one.
No, that's mental that you, if you're saying that, that's absolutely.
Yeah.
You're just going to stop the podcast here, guys. That's it. See you later. Nice one.
I
Mate,
know, like, no one would ever agree with it, and I know it's an outlandish point of view, but like, we've just kind of said it. They've got Zywoo, Magis who's just left on Flames, Spinks, Flames. Like, their team is absolutely stacked. They've got Mezzi now as well, and it's like, oh, well done, Apex. You're a really good leader. Like, well done, mate. Like, he could be good, but Shuei's doing more, like, not doing more, but he's doing very well with less. Snappy's done really well, and they're doing stuff without a stacked team. And I'm not taking anything away from Apex, but
I
you
don't
can't.
know.
Like, I do feel bad because it's like I'm kind of punishing him for having a good team, but I am. Like, you swap Shuei and Apex, I think Vitality are gonna do better, or just as hard to do much better than they are doing, but as well as they are doing, whereas I don't think Mouse would do as well as they have been doing.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout considering the quality he's got around him. But to do it again with Flames coming in, Magis leaving, then Mezzi.
Yeah, but like,
I know they're still good players. I get it, but there's still an element of consistency that he's managed to keep. Don't know. In-game leaders are such a grey area.
Yeah, maybe it's just hard. It's hard for me to kind of appreciate what he's doing because his team is so stacked and they're full of such
it's
good
hard
players.
to fuck it up.
But there's a lot of teams with good players and
This
don't
is
do
it.
as well.
There's loads of supposed super teams that still don't compare to the likes of Vitality.
Yeah, I also think his relationship with Zywoo and stuff as well kind of helps, and not everybody's going to have that relationship with him. But is that credit to his in-game leading, or just the fact that they're both French and they're both mates?
Both just love a croissant.
Yeah.
Right, we should just. I'm gonna have to hurry it along a bit, only because my wife is on to me already about going to bed, and I'm in. We're in this room.
Kicked out.
I know, which never happens, but it's only for this one.
Yeah, and it's good that you've been on as well, especially just having a kid.
Mm.
So that was basically the awards. There was loads more awards given out, but those are the most interesting ones. Obviously, we got Player of the Year. We kind of spoke about the top 20s. We didn't know the top 5, I think, last time we did the podcast. Obviously, it was Zywoo, Nico, Robs, Monacy, and I can't remember who was 5.
Can't remember.
It was something like that anyway. I would have put Rob's second above Nico. I think he had a slightly better end to the year. But I'm not going to argue with anyone putting Nico second because he's fucking insane.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
go on.
I was just going to say, did you want to talk about Blast quickly?
Yeah, let's talk about Blast because I've been watching a lot of it. Okay, so one, it's good to have some LAN-based Counter-Strike back, and some people talk about Blast in a negative way. I like Blast. I've got positive memories of it because we've been to it. We're actually going to go to this one, right? So interestingly, the for this one, when the prize for this is to go to London, I believe, right? It's like part of
this
it.
Is it the qualifiers for London?
This is to get to the spring final. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the one we're going to. So this is interesting to watch all the lead up. So in terms of the games I watched Vitality OG, and I was super excited to watch that because I thought Heavy God, again, only because we watched him live, I just got some weird affiliation to. I wanted Heavy God to do well. They got fucking Mirage was 13-0. They didn't get a single round in Mirage, their first map, and I was like, it was actually boring. Like, Vitality were just so good. They got 7 rounds in Inferno, but they just got dicked OG. So it is what it is. Then it was Astralis Falcons, which I watched that, and I thought, Falcons, let's go. I'm gas, and I was thinking, what?
You were cheering for Falcons?
What, over Astralis?
Yeah.
Yes, of course I was. You know how I feel about Astralis. Astralis,
Okay.
fucking Drama Astralis, Astralis. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and mate, I like Snappy. I want Magis to do well. It's a nice team, Falcons. Anyway, they didn't look good at all. But look, it's early days. We can't put too much, to this at the moment. But you know when things aren't right, it's timings in CS. I feel like if you're out of whack on CS, you're not on the same page as your team. It's timings, little peaks around corners, little lurks or rotations that don't quite come off, and it's always telling when the timings are just slightly off. I feel like that's just such a weird, like karma point in Counter Strike that it's just not meant to happen, and it's not going well for you. And it was one of those series where I watched it and I just thought these things aren't sticking for you guys at the moment. They also didn't look happy, which I get. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on those guys, and I wonder if I think they'll all cope with it because they're all proper and all the people they've got there are mad professionals who've done it before and know what they're doing. But they,
Basically ends right with added Magis and Boros.
yeah, and Sonic over you.
Yeah, I think the only troubles they might have are the voices. So you've got Snappy and Magis, who are like obviously Snappy's the in-game leader. Magis is a pretty big voice, and he's going to want to be heard, and rightly so. He's achieved a lot in Counter Strike, right? And the same with Zonic as well. Um, so I think there's like three voices, and I think everybody kind of needs to feel each other out and find out where they all stand.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, I
well,
wouldn't.
I
I
have
don't want to judge
actually
them too much.
got. It's just finished. I've got the TV on the back there. It did just have OG Falcons on as well. But
Oh,
they've just beat them. They trounced OG. So annoyingly, OG I kind of was feeling quite positive about, but they're just kind of like OG of old. It seems at the moment, just that kind of team that's probably going
yeah.
to be like 20th, 30th in the world and go to
I
these
mean,
events and
Heavy God's been playing well as well. Like I watched the start of that game, and Heavy God got like 3 kills or something in like the first round, and he was the only one on his team to get any kills.
he played very well in the qualifiers. He was top ranked over like 6 or 7 maps in his. I mean, again, the quality of opposition in the qualifiers for the RMRs weren't great, but he was doing what he was meant to do, which was top fragging and carrying the team. So fair play. But OG do look now they're against these top teams or better tier teams. Look like they could be
Can I
standard OG.
can I throw a few teams out there to see whether you've watched them? Ones that I'm interested in.
Yes.
Navi and Complexity. I was pretty interested in that game.
Yeah, I watched. So I did watch a bit of it, but I watched Navi G2 a bit more of. Navi look. So the interesting about Navi is, and what game was it? It was Anubis.
They've played
Sorry to do this.
Complexity
Sorry,
and
there was one
they've played
game.
G2.
There was a map. It might have been Anubis where they were 8. I feel like they were 8-0 down or 8.
They beat
7 or 8.
G2 13-9 on Anubis.
Sorry to do this. I'm searching, which is not good. But hang on, let me just check. It might not have been this. It might have been in the RMRs.
Because Navi have been an interesting team to me. Like they
Mate,
seem to be doing pretty well. Like I'm pretty surprised at how well they're doing.
well, so I've watched a couple of their games. There was one where they were 8 or 7 down on Anubis. I can't remember who it was against. It might have been the RMR qualifiers. I forget. And they came back and won, which is a credible turnaround when it's best out of 13. Yeah, MR 13. There was another series where they were down by 7 or 8, and they came back. They like the new phase. They like the new phase where they just basically let you run away with it, and then just turn up at the end and go, "No, not today. We're going to batter you." But they look great, and JL was looking incredibly consistent. Bit was turning up when needed to happen, and Wonderful doesn't look like an awful replacement at all for Simple. Honestly, he was again. It was Anubis. He was holding sight, getting the flicks off when he needed to. Yeah, he looked decent. We might need to wrap this up quite quickly because I think my mini Diz is entering the room. So
Okay, and so quickly, I just wanted to mention Astralis because Astralis just beat Falcons 2-0, and they've just beat Vitality, ending Vitality's 9-win streak.
yeah. Well,
So
I
Astralis the real deal.
Ah, yes, they look really good. And I watched a lot of Vitality and Astralis, in particular the Decider overpass. And I said it just a minute ago. Zyru looked incredible. What I saw, I missed actually the end result. But from what I've seen from Astralis, Jabbi and Stown look very good. And Stair was turning up on one of the games I watched. I think it was one of the ones against Falcons. They just look incredibly good. Blame F looks like he's got his team on point. They look in sync, happy, and it's falling into place. And naturally, I like them after watching. I like them more after watching them.
Well, I was just going to say, I think I've said this in the past. If you were running a Counter-Strike team, I imagine you'd run it pretty similar to Astralis.
What, just drama filled and erratic?
You'd fuck people over to get good players. You wouldn't give a fuck like taking players off other teams, and you wouldn't really be sentimental or polite about it.
Maybe I should embrace the inner Astralis and realise it's actually my team. Maybe
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Blame F and Device. I just don't like what Jabbi and Stown did, but
fine.
I don't care. I like Counter Strike. I'm not really interested in.
This is it. And if you play like you did against Vitality today, and how they were playing, mate, Jabbi made a sick look to retake on overpass. It was, I think it was for Zyru, someone else, and someone else left, and crept up. Mezzi was there. Zyru, Mezzi, and one other crept up. Got Zyru on site, headshot, and then like had a bit of a standoff with Mezzi. Mezzi fell back to the site. Look it up on overpass. It was a great play. I might link you the highlight. Mezzi dropped back to the site, and Jabbi just literally peeked around the corner, one tapped him, bang. We took the site and diffused. It was incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to check highlights out now. Actually,
I'm going to see if I can find a few. But plays like that are that it got. I wanted to load up the game, just get on with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here you go. I found it. I'm going to link it to you, and maybe I might link it in the comments, guys, because honestly, it's worth watching. That it was a. Oh, it might have just popped up on my sound there, guys. Sorry. Listen, I hate to do this, but I am actually going to have to run.
Yeah.
It's not been overly short, so we've managed to get some time in, which is good. We'll be back next week. I'm incredibly sorry to quickly cut this short like this. Anything else you want to quickly add, really, or?
No, mate. We've hit every subject we wanted to hit.
That was a nice, rapido version.
Yeah. So no, it's been good, and thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
No worries.
And I'm sure as everyone else will do. And yeah, I like the new content as well, mate. So hopefully people check that out. And if anyone's got any ideas for content, please let us know. We appreciate all the comments.
Indeed we do. All right, nice one. Well, look, let's round up there. I'm going to go watch well, not until I think it's finished, but tomorrow watch some more Blast and see how we go on, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. GG's.
Yeah. GG's.